Good morning, this is Deborah Matthews, Vicar of Verwood, with my thoughts for today. I have just returned from some time away, and it is good to be back after my break. During this time, I have been reviewing the sermons and reflections that I have written over the last 27 years, and this has been a trip down memory lane for me, because so much of what we reflect upon spiritually is part of our daily lives and our own histories, as well as the topics in the news at the time. Well, today many of us are reflecting upon the vote in Parliament on Friday to allow the assisted dying bill to proceed to the next stage. It's one of those things which touches everyone. No one can say it's got nothing to do with me. As the result revealed, Parliament was split fairly equally as to whether the bill should move forward. Our experience of life and our faith plays such a large part in this, but we pray that the safeguards which have been spoken about will never be lifted or limited should the bill become law. Today in church, we have arrived at the season of Advent. This is also a season for reflection, where past and future meet together in Jesus. On this first Sunday of Advent, we look back to the time when Jesus was an adult, teaching his disciples about the kingdom and predicting the fall of Jerusalem. Jesus tells his disciples to keep watch and to be aware of the things going on around them. We wait for something which has begun in the past and continues now, but will only be fulfilled in the future, as we also look to Christ's return to bring in the end time as Judge and King. In his Gospel, St. Luke reminded his readers of how Jesus had spoken about the signs that would appear on the earth and in the heavens as a warning of the things to come. The time when they would need to stay awake and be alert and pray for the strength to stand before the Son of Man. Today we are reminded to be on our guard, to pay attention and ensure that we do not miss what is right in front of us. We should focus upon the ways of love, of justice, and of peace. Every generation lives through its own difficult times. In this country, we have lived for some time under relative peace and security. But our sisters and brothers living in other places in our world have suffered and continue to suffer from violence and war and the lack of the basic necessities to enable them to flourish and thrive. We can see the pictures of bomb sites and the devastation caused to human beings as we sit in the comfort of our own homes. And we cannot pretend that the horror will not touch us. I think that this year, the apocalyptic Advent readings of the signs of unrest and distress all around the world seem to have hit home more clearly to me than usual. The so-called natural disasters that have befallen the world are now found to be not so natural after all, but the result of human negligence and greed. The early storms that have caused flooding and wrecked livelihoods in our own small patch of this planet are also signs of things to come. What Jesus spoke about all those years ago is to do with us today. Whilst we are trying to secure our own territory and power, the earth is responding to the damage that we are causing, and it cannot continue to withstand all that we are throwing at it. So in Advent, we prepare not only to meet the Christ child, born as a vulnerable child in a manger, but to prepare to face the Lord, who will come again to judge the world. Of course, we don't need to fear God's judgment, but to look to God with hope and trust that we will be strengthened to persevere in prayer and stand before him when he comes again to fulfill his promise. For now we must stay awake and recognise that these things are all to do with us.